Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an episode of Career Mode, and this time it's not going to be featuring my phone buzzing every 2 seconds. I didn't realize it, but it turns out you could easily hear my phone going off in the background, so I've decided to chuck this halfway across the room, and hopefully it isn't buzzing loud enough to the point where you guys can get pissed off about it. But anyways, like I said, we have some Career Mode goodness, and boy do we have some good shenanigans for you guys. Now, if you guys don't remember last episode, you know we lost heavily to Southampton, but then we kind of redeemed ourselves a little bit against Sunderland, where we managed to pick up a win. So at the moment we're sitting with 3 points in the table, and we had Aston Villa coming up next. They have some decent players. They really haven't added any sort of big names to their squad whatsoever. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but there was some rumors that maybe Aston Villa will be getting bought out by a big Arab a sort of money-filled oil baroned company. I'm not entirely sure if that ended up going ahead, but I know it was in the news, so it'll be interesting to see if anything actually comes of that. But on another note, we were concentrating on our own performance and how we were going to fare up against a side like Aston Villa. Oxlade-Chamberlain was actually in the starting lineup, if you guys remember. I didn't really play him too much towards the end of last season. I decided to go for the Sterling-Zaha combination, but it was Ox that started, and he set up a nice goal for Sturridge there. Sturridge fires that one near post, and no surprise that was going to go into the back of the net. I mean, it's just one of the most common things. I do a nice little flick back there with Sturridge. Sturridge is so great when it comes to little things like that. He's so good at just getting past players. Jovetic, again, in a very Sturridge-esque goal. You know, he tried to repeat. He said, "Oh, Sturridge, if you can do it, I can do it better." And he does exactly the same near post goal again and fires that into the back of the net. And this game, we were in a really good control. You know, we're playing very well. But unfortunately, I didn't actually spot it at all. Aston Villa end up giving away a penalty. And I can't remember the last time I've actually missed a penalty with MV. MV is so quality when it comes to taking penalties. And he manages to bury that to make it 3-0. And we were in some great form. But unfortunately, not everything can go your way in FIFA, and Aston Villa didn't get that into the back of the net, but they certainly came close. They were playing some okay football, but their defense really let them off. I couldn't decide whether it was the defense that was poor, or is the fact that we now have 3 amazing attacking players. I just couldn't make my mind up. A great pass across through to Muriel, and that's that Muriel-Sturridge link-up that I was so excited to see. And yes, you know, Sturridge played the cross, and Muriel managed to get it on his nugget, and he puts it away to make it 5-0, and this could become another stomping, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be. And Luis Muriel there picking up another goal, and things were not looking pretty for Aston Villa. They actually managed to do a decent effort of getting themselves another goal, but it was nothing more than a consolation goal in the 90th minute from Gardner as well. Gardner, he's actually a player that I believe has a bit of potential in him. He's got some decent shot on him, but yeah, it just wasn't enough to do anything against this side that we've now created. I mean, the side that we have is just monstrous, and I say that as a plane goes by. I actually have the window open. You know, there's always some sort of noise distraction in my FIFA commentaries, but yeah, there's plane going past. It can get pretty busy, and the amount of times these big-ass helicopters come really low past my flat. I live in Canary Wharf, so there's a bunch of stuff going around, and yeah, it just makes an absolute racket, and sometimes it's tough to get to sleep. But anyways, that was a random tangent that I'm sure you guys are probably sitting there thinking, I don't give a flying fuck about that crap. Get on with it, Cal. And that's exactly what the team did. 6-1, and this was, again, nothing more than a consolation goal. You know, good effort from Gardner to pick up 2 goals for their team, but like I said, it meant nothing because a 6-2 is still a battering, a spanking, and a beating. No Chris Brown intended. But anyways, at the end of that was that over. Premier League, Chelsea beat QPR 2-1, which is actually a bit of a close result. Arsenal end up beating Everton 2-0, and Fulham tied to Stoke 1-1. But it was transfer deadline day, and there hasn't been a lot of transfer shenanigans going on recently, so it was going to be interesting to see if any sort of deals would pop up last minute. And one thing that did come through was a transfer offer for Ter Stegen, one of my goalkeepers, and it was a huge bid from PSG for 23 million. Now, you guys have to remember, that might not be a huge bid for a striker or a midfielder or sometimes even a defender, but it is a huge bid for a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers tend to go for a lot less money, but still I was determined to say, Ter Stegen, stay at this club, you will enjoy it. So I decided to stick a big hefty price tag on him for PSG, just so that they could go run away and forget ever spending 31 million on a goalkeeper. So I submitted that counter offer, and we still had a bit of the transfer window. Like I said, not much has recently been happening, so I kind of went into this with no real plan ahead of me. But what do you know, PSG, the money bags, decided to accept the 31.5 million for Ter Stegen, and I was like, oh shit. Just start smashing the panic button. Went and looked at the top goalkeepers around at the moment. Obviously Hugo Lloris, a very popular goalkeeper, 89 rated rated at the moment. He still goes up a fair bit. So I definitely had him as my #1 sort of goalkeeper at the moment. We still have Ulreich there, 85 rated, but unfortunately he left the squad not too long ago. So as a sort of a last-minute, last-ditch attempt, I shoved in a bid for Hugo Lloris. Now, I understand he wasn't a keeper that I necessarily wanted to get in this career mode. It was literally me just smashing the panic button, being like, I need to pick up a player like this. Now, he was valued at around 8 million, but, you know, a player's like that, you know, he's the best keeper in the world at the moment as far as the rating goes. But fortunately for me, Ter Stegen, that whole thing had fallen apart. I was kind of glad about that, to be perfectly honest with you. I really didn't want him to leave the squad. I wanted to see how well he would do. A bid came in for Ogbonna, and I just laughed it off. You've got to be kidding me. Ogbonna is just such a quality player. I simply cannot let a man like that leave my sights. And that was transfer deadline day over. Like I said, nothing really big happened. I didn't go into expecting anything to happen. I didn't go in looking to buy any players. So we've made some really crucial sort of sales and purchases. Liverpool's biggest sale, according to the media, was in fact Ulreich. And, you know, it was a big deal for me. But like I said, Ter Stegen, I'm very confident in the fact he'll be able to fill the boots. He's been playing a lot better than when I had him at QPR. Jovetic, I might add, is now 91 rated. This guy is just climbing that rating ladder. He is just beasting it at the moment. He is killing it, which I'm really, really happy about. But we had a game. It was against Leyton Orient, I think it is. And I actually decided to play a full-strength squad. And you might be like, whoa, what the hell? Why would you play a full-strength squad against a side like this in a Capital One Cup? One, because I knew we had a huge international break coming up, so fitness was not going to be an issue. And I just wanted to see these players really grow and become better players. And in order to do that, you have to give them game time. And that's why I decided to play my first team, because my first team really, I'd say almost all of them have room to grow. So for that reason, that's why they are playing in this game. But it was actually really interesting. You know, I played Aston Villa, battered them 6-2. And then I played Leyton Orient, and I was like, hold on a second, why am I not banging in goals left, right, and center? But I did manage to get one in the 28th minute. But that was really it for a very long time. Leyton Orient put up a great fight throughout the entire game, and it was really only the first I'd say about 30 minutes where I was in control. Rest of it, Leyton Orient actually had a decent effort. They were playing some pretty good football, and I was very impressed by it, and they certainly made Aston Villa look like mugs. And overall, fair play to him for giving me a run for the money. Of course, they weren't able to do it. I was a little bit disappointed, like I said, that I couldn't really push on and grab, you know, 5 goals out of this, especially considering the side I put out. I put out a very strong side, but I did put in some last-minute substitutions. This was very, very last minute. I really didn't expect it to do much. And that was that, though. That was the end of that game. And, yeah, you know, solid game. Jovetic, man of the match, 9.6 rating. Sturridge with a 7.5. I am really enjoying playing Jovetic, in this center attacking midfield position. To any of you guys who are wondering, you know, Cal, is it working out? For me, I personally think it is, but I think we're going to have to wait a little while longer just to see, you know, whether it really has paid off or not. Munayin is still going to be getting some good game time, but I'm making sure that everyone is sort of growing at their maximum potential, and that is exactly why Jovetic is starting at the moment. You can already see he came into the club as an 86 rated player. He has already gone up, I believe that's 5 ratings in a season or whatever it is now, so that's very impressive. But guys, hope you've all enjoyed this video. I apologize if there's been any sort of background noise, but I hope it hasn't hindered the commentary too much. And a big shout out to the plane that flew by, and I hope you guys all have a cracking day. I'm gonna go and get some wasabi and going to eat my face off, because that, oh man, to any guys who haven't had a wasabi, go and get the chicken curry. Oh my god, it is amazing. But guys, I always seem to talk about food at the end of commentaries, and I swear a lot of my tweets and things have turned into just food. Like, everything is just talking about food. I don't know. I'm constantly hungry. It's constantly on my mind. So I've really got to sort that out. Anyways, that was just a completely random ramble, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Have a great day. Bye-bye.